It's interesting. I was just noting that, thinking of somebody I saw, an old friend. He's in Nova Scotia now. Old friend. And like someone else I know up in Prince George, nobody has any energy anymore. They're kind of at the end of their lives, and they're only in their 70s or late 60s. And somehow mine is just starting, although I do feel old compared to everybody else, because the more you know, as I said to a young friend in his 40s, a young friend in his 40s today, still healthy and strong. I said, the older you get, the fewer people you know that are your age. So it's more important you have the younger people. But all too often, people, you're starting to do something exciting. Hey, I got something going on. What do you think about this? Well, actually, my wife and I were just kind of like this. Well, I'm done with this. They just kind of want to stop living. And maybe they just got other things to worry about. Of course, It's funny how people change, but the young people, mostly are the ones that have to listen. Like the woman in Lillooet who was being so nasty to me. She's not even from the country. The country, I mean this country. I mean the Lillooet country. I'm in the canyon, which is nearby. But she's from Etobicoke, and she's being like middle-aged or older, thinks she knows something, and putting me down without even knowing what she's talking about. Still, and she's just old. The thing is that those, like in Childhood's End by Arthur C. Clarke, and the young people know this, is in the last election and the referendum they know this, that the old people, they were worried about this. All of the 24-year-olds and under, they generally understand that the old people have no idea what's coming at them, so they've just given up hope. Now the ones that listen, and will listen to some of them, many that have hope and that are looking for a way. Now I provided that way, and she's like 50 maybe, I don't know what she does, she's out here from Etobicoke, she got a job, she's being a native supporter and being all trendy out there and being correct. But you don't be correct by shutting up somebody with ideas or somebody else who's from the place, and you think that, you got to be kidding when I talk about joining the U.S. Well, no, I'm not kidding. This is the thing. I got to talk like this more regularly and get better mic because of my deep throat. I talk so deep, although, I've been not talking too much. I was earlier today, but this is going to be normal. But she doesn't want to listen. She didn't want to listen. She wants to shut me up. She wants to argue with me still. I just saw another long reply. Blah, 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 blah. I'm right. You're wrong. I'm right. I don't know shit because I've decided you're wrong. I don't want to know shit. And she doesn't know shit. And she's being, a troll. She's just being an energy vampire going, I want your attention. You gave me some attention. I want some more. But you know what? You don't understand what's going on. And the young people do. And the sovereign peoples do. And a lot of the people do, like me, who understand that the Crown has no rights in BC. It's been a conundrum for a very long time. The 85% of the province that's untreated. The Crown has no right to exist here. And they've abused that right. Logged it. Raped the people, raped the children, banned the potlatch. Oh, they've done horrible things here. Horrible. Even now, we've got to Wet'suwet'en, not just the Site C, and just the whole pipeline concept. Now, the Hyslop bought into it and did that. I don't know. They're the Gitmat. They're the Kitimat. Kitimat. It's actually a Giksam or Simsham word. It means people of the snows. It's the word for the particular branch of the Hyslop, maybe the main one. There's also the Hyskalex, there's a second one. Of the northern Wakashan peoples, they're related to the old Kino remotely in the house. Well, not remotely, kind of close to it. They're all different languages, but they live with the Chimshan on Kitimat. Now, I think there's some issues with that. There definitely was with the aluminum smelter, and there always has been with places like Muchalat and Mawachat. And Mawachat, that's Yukwat. But the Muchalat, they were Gold River. There's a big pulp mill there. Yeah. You live in pulp mill country when you live sometimes First Nations, It happened with the Squamish, both Squamish and North Vancouver. Certainly happened with, I'd have to go through the list. It's a long and ugly one of where industry has been plopped right down on it. The Muchalat have very high cancer rate. The Mawachat were relocated there because the Mawachat and Muchalat are a group now, but the Mawachat were at Yukwat, Friendly Cove. Mawachat are McInnes people. Now, does this woman from Etobicoke know any of this? Does she know the names of the Lillooet country? I could start naming First Nations leaders. I don't even know all of them, but, Chilahita, Grand Chief Jimmy Scotsman, Hunter Jack, Fred Gott, Tommy Bull. Does she know any of those names? Like I know them? Well, Tommy Bull she might, but he's very old. She an elder now. But, you know, of the different people of the Lillooet country, does she even know who Ma Murray is? Or well, she probably knows who Dr. Miyazaki is. She probably knows who Ma Murray is. Because there's, you know, in the basement of the museum, there's the presses and Ma Murray and so on. But that's all she knows. She doesn't know the history that I've learned, and I'm only from 46. I just read everything about it. But I've also read about the constitutional void in BC, and I've seen the abuses of it. I've seen what was done. And it continues to be done by Mr. Horgan and his party, and just taking up the banner from the Liberals, which are actually the Social Credit rehashed and reminted as the Liberals, and they're really the Liberals from Social Credit. They blended in 1975, and that's why the province was clear-cut anyway. And that's where Justin was born, in that little marriage between Jimmy Sinclair's beautiful hippie ski daughter, Margaret, and that dog, Pierre, who jilted her, and she treated her like garbage. And yeah, she wanted to play. She was a hippie chick from North Vancouver. She was a skier chick. You know, she was way cooler than her son, that's for fucking sure. And yeah, she did sing guitar for, who was it, the president of Venezuela? Yeah, good for her. She was a human being around a bunch of stuck-up cunts. And we liked her for that out here. I mean, she got, you know, she had to be drugged, and, you know, they got divorced, and, you know, she got it together again, and she wrote this tragic book, you know, but she was a nice woman. And, you know, what was Pierre doing? He was romancing Leona Boyd. Oh, Karen K drama. Would you look behind by the couch they baked this? I don't know what they did on that couch, but Leona had to put up with this, and this is a guy. Oh, I said it before, you know, yeah, well, not on the state has no base in the bedrooms of the nation, and not on the Prime Minister's couch or behind it either. Oh, what a cad, just a cad. Anyway, you know, he decided to have another kid through a lawyer woman they never met. The kid's going to be brilliant because all the Trudeau kids are brilliant. And yeah, I mean, Fidel was his godfather. People still don't get that. You know, they don't just like each other. They liked each other, Pierre. And Pierre was a communist. He was a collegiate communist. He used to drive around Montreal just to people off with the Nazi helmet with the spike on it. It was the First World War helmet with a spike or whatever. No, maybe it was a Nazi helmet around Montreal on his motorbike. He was a super rich millionaire. He was an Elliott. Yeah, the Trudeaus weren't poor either, you know. The Elliott family are Kennedys. They're a branch of the Kennedys. That's who he is. He's a Kennedy, for fuck's sake. So is Justin. And Jimmy Sinclair, well, let's talk about the Sinclair clan for a while, shall we? Prince Henry Sinclair, you know of the famous fleet that came in, perhaps from the Masonic fleet that they say found the Maritimes. They did whatever in the Maritimes, like the famous tower at Newport and stuff. Yeah, well, who else could have built that other than the Celts? Well, and the Masons and the Templars. Yeah, okay, that's who they are. That's who they are, the Sinclairs, right? And this is the forest industry. In Montreal, also the Liberal Party. Maclo, Macmillan Bloedel, one of BC's largest companies. You know, it's always pay-as-you-go politics. She knows none of this. She thinks Canada's so beautiful, we're so good, and Toronto's probably a really wonderful city to her, and really cosmopolitan dynamic. She has no clue about the history of the Fraser Canyon. Not like I do. And she's patronizing me now. She continues to do it. So I don't care. What I'm getting at is a lot of old people, I'll just dismiss talking about here. It's just rubbish. Just wasting time talking about just rubbish. The point is that people my age aren't in tune with what's happening enough. Some of us are, like David next door, David and Heidi. They clued into a lot of stuff. David next door, people think he's nuts. No, people think he's nuts because he knows about things other people don't understand. Yeah, some of it I don't know. But what's around here and what's there and things that are in the mountains here and things you've seen and what there is in certain valleys and lakes, what's up on there and what's over there. There were woodland caribou, reindeer. You know, the Norwegian here is back in the Cold War. Even recently they saw one of the swans up on, it's called the Nipple, but it's a high ridge above the mouth of the Nahatlatch River, which is just north here. Up the Nahatlatch gets really interesting. Real things that's kind of suspected were in there. It's even more mysterious. Well, of the same mysteriousness as the Bridge River country and the Lillooet country. But like the Bridge and the Yallecum and the Seton Valley, the Nahatlatch has been robbed of its trees and more. There's jade mines and gold mines. This guy's into gold mining and, oh, these are things he's done. Yeah, these things about you get a 73-year-old in the Fraser Canyon. Yeah, they've seen and done a lot. Boy, have they ever. You know, people don't get how much this country has changed. She's from Etobicoke. She's from suburban Toronto. And even when it wasn't suburban Toronto, it was like bucolic Ontario. It had no connection to this place here. And speaking of this woman, I don't care what she says anymore, other than to comment on. The arrogance of her generation who think that they know something and they can judge something of somebody else from some area that happens to be in the empire of their city, which is what Canada is with the empire of Toronto, Greater Toronto. They put the capital in Ottawa for convenience sake. In Montreal, it's kind of a compromise because Montreal has a lot of clout because they have the railway headquarters. And CN's headquarters, which are still there, even though the company is 85% owned and controlled from Omaha, I think still by Hunter Harrison. And Bill Gates and Warren Buffett are behind the BC Rail bullshit. Now, I saw it all go down, but you know what? We can't reverse that now. It's all done. If we try and repossess anything that the Americans own here now, including government services that they now own and operate, well, that's another national security interest of the United States. We're interfering with American investment. And Mr. Trudeau is foolish enough to think that he can say, well, we'll just build this pipeline to China for China, and we'll triple the rates for Washington to pay for it. Oh, yeah? Governor Inslee just served notice on Mr. Trudeau. And maybe he didn't catch the hint. You know, I've said it before about the size of the U.S. armaments in Puget Sound. Do you think the U.S. military is at all pleased about this fop in there dancing with what? China that doesn't even have. And of course they don't want 5G networks. I thought about it today. I got my Huawei. I like it. It's a nice phone, really nice phone. China makes good things, just like Japan learned to, just like Korea learned to. They're making the best stuff in the world right now because it's competitive. What country isn't? Well, it's called the United States. And why? Because they're a bunch of Bible-toting bozos who want to go fight wars rather than develop technology. And we want our boys to have a country full of PTSD. Oh, yeah, whatever. I don't mind it in terms of the idea of joining it because Canada is even screwed up about not seeing the truth for what it is or not seeing their own freedom as being for what it's not. And this is the same thing. I'm trying to talk about freedom, the same thing as on the bus. Try to shut me down, shut up. The Canadian ethic is shut up. Yes, it is. And I refuse to submit. Why? To talk about freedom and democracy and the right way to run this country, which is like proper human rights, that can't be revoked, and so on, all this stuff. Oh, I don't want to know. But the young people want that. So I don't care what the old people know. They're all dying. I know this. They're a minority. They're sure they vote more, but they're a minority. The deal is, I can't mobilize the young vote. My young friend I talked tonight, my 42-year-old, 44-year-old friend, this is the leadership, and his sons and daughters are the leadership. Does he have daughters? I'm not sure. But everybody, the young people are the people that count. And the old people think, well, just shut up the debate. We got to keep it like it is. Stability. I don't want to keep the conflict. There's no other solution. She does not understand how fluid that border is and that no border stands, especially not one artificially drawn 100. I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah, I got to remember. This is the 200th anniversary of the 49th parallel when the Florida Treaty established the boundary to the Rockies, anyway. The 46th boundary wasn't until the 46th. It wasn't established to the Georgia Strait. The 49th parallel was established by the Treaty of Florida. Also, the treaty of the California-Oregon boundary, which was at that time between Mexican California, Spanish California, I guess, soon after Mexican, and Oregon. And north of that was also the Columbia Department. The Columbia Department and the Oregon country were one and the same. Neither Britain nor America had title to this woman that's been arguing with me about what she thinks she knows. Neither one had title. They had an operating license, and it was called economy of interest, but really it was that either one could trade there, free to trade, and anybody else could too. Nobody else was. The Austrians stopped in, flying a flag from Trieste. Whose ship was that? Doesn't matter. La Perouse stopped by with a French claim. He died off Australia. Poor bad. Too bad. It would have been fun to have Napoleon in on this too. Oh yeah, that would have been lots of fun. And Napoleon III or whoever, you know. Who else was in here? Portuguese, Juan de Fuca, but that doesn't really count. He was a Greek anyway, Juan de Fuca. You know, Janus, I used to know Janus Focus or something like that. That's his name, Focus. Juan de Fuca is not Portuguese, but he was flying a Portuguese flag, same as Emirs was flying. Was it an Austrian flag? Something like that, something odd, because Trieste was a port for the Austro-Hungarian Empire. See, this was a multi-imperial area that was part of New Spain, part of Russian America. Does this woman from Ontario even understand that? But it wasn't part of any of those things, because these were just imperial claims. Where she was, well, there's a lot of issues about who was in charge of the Slat, of this area of Slat, which is Sats, which is the Lillooet area of the Tukkamath, which is the Kroyash, where actually the band is there, is the old name, Tukkamath. Proper name for it. Cayush came since Cayush means horse, and Sahaptian from Spanish via Sahaptian. So does she know where these words come from? Because I do. And I know how they're used, you know? I use them properly, not like somebody who's learned them. You know, what a Cayush means is a certain kind of mountain pony and a certain kind of breeding, you know? Or you could just mean, hey, that's my Cayush, you know? It's a certain right way to say it. The Cayush means the mountains around it. The Cayush, depends on what you're talking about, Cayush. You know, the rhythm of it counts, you know? Skookum, depending how you say, hey, skookum, and you go, wow, that's a skookum one. She doesn't know how to use other words. And well, she doesn't even know, she probably doesn't know how to say a few words in Aquamics, which I only know a few words, but can she name the peaks? Does she know how much of the customs does she know other than the ones she's been taught in modern times, other than the drum songs? But I know a few, but not enough. I don't even know how much place she's in the island no more. I know she's not native, I've learned. You know nothing about me. Well, you know what? When you talk like that to somebody who's an elder, trying to teach you something, and you think that you're smarter than him, and you think that because he's talking too much, you have a right to shut him up, what are you doing in an indigenous group? I really don't understand. This is to this woman in Lillooet. Like, this is the kind of stupidity that you get, the arrogance. And, you know, people just don't care. You know, they just don't want to know. They don't want to know that you're busy or that already, like my friends, say, oh, I'm already getting old. Well, something exciting has happened here. Well, I don't want to take part because we've got to deal with this. You know, I have ideas for productions, for music. Well, we think getting old for that. I think she's busy with that. And blah, blah, blah. Everybody is strained and stressed, or they're just getting old. Well, I'm not. I'm young again. And I feel like calling everybody I've ever known. I'm going to be doing that in the next while. And some of you are going to get, who's Mike's coming on about? Well, I'm going to come on about everybody live. Like this, I can't keep on sending private messages to the people, so I have to learn to talk to everybody at once. Some of the people remember me, some of the people have never seen me before. So this is definitely going to go online. Take my water. It's time for this old man to go to bed. I had a cold last night. We caught up this morning. The freezer was got full over here. The power went off. Ooh. And I walked 500 miles up to Fat Jack's and Fat Jack's Pub and Cafe. It was closed. Maybe it's open in the daytime tomorrow. I got to check because they have Wi-Fi. Dave's house does too. I've got some stuff to upload. I've also got some calls to make with people. Yeah, good people that maybe might save the farm. But in terms of dealing with the fading glory of the world and knowing what is coming, and having people go, no, you're wrong. Oh, no, I'm right. No, I'm right. No, I'm right. And you have no idea what you're talking about, lady. And it's often a woman. Not always, but often a woman who just goes, no, just like this. Will push you down, push you away. You know what? Well, that's okay, because you're one of the ones that's going to die anyway. You're too old. You won't last. I won't last. I know I won't, but I get a long way to go yet before I don't. I know this, too. Now her, because she's totally unprepared for what's coming, you know, well, okay, whatever, it's your choice. And people don't believe me about whatever else, well, okay, I tried to tell you. If they don't listen, well, then it was meant to happen. You see, everything is meant to happen. And it's, well, okay, well, all right. Okay, there's got to be a Cullen. Let's put it that way. That's the easy way to put it. It won't be the Wraith doing it. Huh, maybe, I don't know. That's for Stargate fans. I don't know, Deloise should really talk to me. You know, I should be writing for those guys right now. But reality is way more weird than you could ever produce. So this is what American politics has proven to us. You couldn't have written that script if you tried. The one that's unfolding between Washington and Moscow and the Kremlin and the White House. Oh my God. You couldn't have come up with this if you tried. It is like so bizarre. You can't write a film now that is more shocking than reality. So I don't know. I think reality is going to be pretty shocking all on its own. Quite literally, actually. And in not too long. So anyways, we've got here, and this is the whole thing. I might as well sum up with the current situation I saw in the news. There's a big windstorm in Horseshoe Bay. Yeah, another one. It's another winter windstorm. It's really unusual here, like really heavy and really hard. Yeah, we're going to have more fires soon, too. I got a friend from California now. He's my friend from Cambodia, my German friend, right? Looking around doing business, getting his scrounge on. I said, Matt, you really got to have a talk to me about fire season. You really have to. and what's going to happen in North America in the next so many years. So it hopefully comes up. It's only a short flight. Come on up. He's in Santa Barbara or somewhere, Malibu, I don't know, somewhere out there, rebuilding stuff, picking up property that's been burned and stuff because it's cheap. He builds things. I don't know what Matt's doing. He's a smart guy. I'd love this farm. Just fly up to Abby, and I'll have you picked up if you don't want to just rent a car and zip up for the day, go back down just like a producer does. The film people do it all the time. Hey, farm in the Fraser Canyon for cheap. Okay, I'll be right there. Yeah, he's expressed interest. So, and then I remember he is in California. Now, I've got my friends in London and bug my friends farm. People I shouldn't be bugging about, hey, you guys want to buy a farm? But he's just the kind of guy to take this place and go, okay. He's a farmer. And he appreciates, what it's got. I know he will when he sees the high country especially. But yeah, he's in L.A., and L.A. is going to be faced with horrendous fires this year. And so is British Columbia, free Columbia. So, what's Canada to do for the fire season here? Do we have, the army out here to fight the fires, or are they just here to arrest natives and beat up and intimidate TMX protesters, Mr. Trudeau? Okay, if you think you're going to deal with the U.S. and impose martial law in British Columbia to build a pipeline for China that will triple the rates for Americans, are you effing kidding me? Sacrament tabernacle, I'm swearing at him in French. I can't believe you're that stupid. Are you that stupid? You don't understand the geopolitics of British Columbia? Neither did your father, by the way. You know why? Because he's an arrogant CO, ends in R, from Westmount, who's a spoiled brat like you are. He's an upper-class estate Canadian establishment. But you're a young man. You're actually no older than Harper, which is the funny part. Or you're younger than Harper, which is the funny part. He just has youth appeal because he's cute and cuddly, and he talks with a microphone, and he talks softly, and he pretends to be a feminist. Oh, he's not beyond. Well, Judy Wilson-Raybould left. She was demoted because she didn't want to deal with the problems he was creating with First Nations. Of course not. Of course not. She's First Nations. You see. And then this thing with Wet'suwet'en, there's something else happened with this idiot is thinking that he can pull the bar garbage that he pulled within range of the U.S. border. Are you kidding me? Sumas switching station, that's going to be maybe one of the confrontation points because that's where most of the supply from Alberta junks into the United States. And they've only just figured that out in Ottawa, and I'm sure they've already had phone calls from the State Department and the U.S. Department of Defense. What are you doing fucking with our oil supply, you stupid twats? Yeah, the Americans won't be happy with it. So this is my word to the Americans. I don't care what this stupid woman from Etobicoke and Real has thinks that I should shut up, just you, no kidding, and you just talk too much. Yeah, I do talk too much about the truth you don't want to hear. And the truth is that Trudeau and Notley have walked all over the American national security interest. Good God. Yeah, so I get it. I want to have a peaceful invasion. So that's why I want to plebiscite. Hey, America, welcome. Please hold that plebiscite. Let's get rid of these bastards from across the Rockies who don't know shit. And export women like that from them. If she wants to wrap herself in the maple leaf, let her jump off the top of Fountain Ridge that faces the Louis. Or go wrap herself and dance in the fucking Nathan Phillips Square in downtown Toronto where she came from, Etobicoke being suburban Toronto. Like, why does she have to wave the Canadian flag and say, oh, you got to be kidding, you don't know no shit, and you're in the middle of somewhere that you don't even know the history of. And you're old. You're old. No, I may be old, but I'm young inside because I know so much about how the young see things. How many times I've been born again, not in the Christian sense, but born through shit and back again and feel like a child again and then feel very old. And the older you, many times you have. And it comes to the point where you remember all your youth and how you felt as a youth and what it was like to see the world with new eyes. And I still don't understand them. I got an 18-year-old friend that he's troubled, that I like to help them. I like to help them because all the old people should do that. Instead of suppress them and order them around and tell them to shut up, like this old woman who's younger than me, I'm sure. She claims she's part Six Nations or something like that. That's not the same thing as being a Quamix. Not at all. That's suburban Toronto again. Six Nations Iroquois Confederacy includes the Mohawks around Montreal. There's Mohawks down there too, Caledon, Brantford. Maybe that's what she is. Maybe she's Métis. I don't care. But she's still not respecting an elder, and she's not in her territory. I'm in mine. Now, for me, I'm not Slatliam, and I'm in the Klapnik territory right now. But I'm consciously aware that I am in the unsurrendered territories where the Crown has not been surrendered title. They are unsurrendered to the crown, and they are sovereign. She doesn't get this. Okay, you had the treaties of the Six Nations and you were betrayed. Fine, you might be French because you're Métis and in Mohawk. I'm going to say this and I post this. I'm going to put that in that group. I am this segment. I got to cut it out to this woman. Oh yeah, you got a French last name. Okay, so you might be Mohawk. Whatever. I don't care. You're not from the territory. I am. I may not be Slatlian, but came to life here, and I'm loyal to the Slatlian country like few other Sama. White people. And it means the good person. Because long ago, the first person to come through the valley that was white, people said some long ago, didn't say he was white, but you pick up on it because shaman, that's the first word they had for us. It means the good one. Because long ago, someone came through the valley who was so good, people said he was God. Now, I'm not God, but I don't have any attitude about anything. I'll always listen to an elder. I talk too goddamn much, too, for an elder, but I'm an elder, too, now. And then some of my native elders in Fountain and Seton, they get that, I have a lot to tell people, and I want to share like the stories of the conversion, the horrors that were done in Europe, but against the pagan past when the conversions happened in Rome and the North and the Baltics. Oh, it was ugly. What Christianity did to quote pagan on Europe, to the ancient tribal civilizations of Europe. Now I know a lot about the ones that came here, including the stuff from the Yukon that I just don't want to get into right now. The Norse. Never mind for now. I've alluded to it in a post I made tonight, and I think I lost it about the Viking ships, and I tried to make it a fucking Facebook. It blocked the page when I tried to go back out. It might still be, I just haven't found it yet. It's really weird when you share something. So anyways, I got to deal with looking at stuff like that. So this is an odd phone, right? And sometimes I lose something really good on the Vikings it was, and how fast they rode, and also we're just about to get to things like what's in the Yukon. Well, never mind for now. Yeah, I have a Decho friend along the Mackenzie. Decho is the name for the Mackenzie River. Beautiful country. I don't want to see it spoiled, and it's mostly Dana. Sure, let's keep it that way. Let's avoid the water. I do not want to see that a freeway or an interstate or the pipeline to the Arctic Ocean because it turns the United States. No. I want to see all the First Nations areas of the North be autonomous countries like Greenland and the Faroes are, which Denmark has done. Why isn't Baffin Island doing as well as Greenland is? Well, it's called Ottawa. It's called Toronto. It's called Montreal. That's why, because it's part of the Canadian Empire. The same with the Mackenzie. But at least they got Justice Berger to fight off the Mackenzie Valley Pipeline. That's been stopped, which is one of the reasons that Alberta is so choked at not having access to the sea. That's why they want to get it from BC. Well, too hotly, Alberta, you've already threatened the United States. Oh, just fire in the sky. So the reality is that the U.S. doesn't want China to cost it money. And this is the thing that these people from the east of the Rockies have no clue about the geostrategics of British Columbia, and I do. I also know what the tide of humanity that's going to come through the Northwest when this is one of the only sector of the continent, the northwest of the Rockies and north of, the Columbia. Southern Oregon is going to be pretty beat up, in terms of weather-wise. Yeah, really it's only going to start, the livable territory is only going to start maybe like Idaho and the Cascades in Washington, and it's going to spread up the desert. It's going to spread up, and it's not desert yet in Okanagan. It's like they brag that it is. It looks like it around Lillooet too, but it's really going to be desert in a while. And the fires are going to be worse in areas like Telegraph Creek and the Muskwa, which is east of the Rocky Mountain Trench, the foothills of the northern Rockies towards the east, North Fort Nelson area. That whole area, the Lyre, the Selwyn's, Pelly, and there's no soil up there, just like there's no soil on the Canadian Shield, so the Americans are going to come streaming north, so they better bring some topsoil with them. Now, nobody else is thinking like this. You have to be an ecologist to realize what's going on. She's not. Oh, she's telling me to shut up. Don't talk about this not being Canada. This is going to be Canada forever, she's thinking. The Dominion is going to be great and glorious. Oh, fuck off. Fuck off. And what's it done in the last 150 years? To this province, to the one next door, to the one next door to it, and the people that lived in it, especially the First Nations people. And if she is a First Nations person, then she is ignorant about First Nations history in the West, which is tragic. And she thinks like a lot of First Nations people. She can tell me to shut up because I'm a white man and I don't know what I'm talking about. That's a Cree tag woman trying to tell me to do about local history. I was asking a historian about what do you think about this war and that war and this war. You're not allowed to talk about that because you're white. Oh, get off it. Oh, you're not allowed to talk about history of Israel because you're not a Jew. You're not allowed to talk about Germany because you're not German. Oh, good Christ, people. Grow up, wake up. So I'm not mad at all First Nations for that. And then my friend up in Decho, I had to remind him, because he was going on about, well, they're all, these Latin's a foreign language that doesn't belong on Turtle Island. Well, I'll tell you what's on Turtle Island now, and includes Indigenous children who are also learning their own